Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I've been watching and listening to the Russian President Vladimir Putin for some time. And I'm talking about years, tens of years. And I watched him in different settings and all kind of speeches that he gave in front of other members of other countries, in Duma, in interviews, feisty interviews, calm interviews, ball-rolling interviews. So I watched him in many instances. And I have my own assessment of this guy. And he has good parts, he has bad parts. I'm not going to talk about the proportionality between this, because that's what matters in a human being, because we all have them. It's just the proportion that matters actually. So here Putin makes some statements, and I rarely, how should I put it? I rarely found them illogical, or they didn't make sense, or they were not led by logos, but instead by pathos. So he's gonna make some claims here, and he had a speech at the forum in Valdai. It's every year is a economic forum held in Russia, and different personalities, politicians, diplomats, heads of states are invited, and they talk about the world issues, a kind of Davos, but Russian style, which is a kind of alternative of Davos. So I've been watching those. I can't watch it because it's not one day. It's more than one day, the whole thing, and it's hours and hours and hours. But you watch certain things that you think are important to your knowledge. So Putin made some statements today, among others, and the statements that I will discuss and are provided by this article have to do with the reality surrounding the negotiations in Ukraine. And he's not an idiot, Putin, and I think he tells the things the way they are. And I'm glad he does that, because I'm glad that he's not an idiot. Let's put it this way. Because if he would be an idiot, I would say, well, it's even dangerous. An idiot with atomic bombs and nuclear and so on. So, this article comes from Reuters, and it's from October 27th, 2022, which is today, Thursday. Putin says US needs to force Kiev to negotiating table. So you already realize who is the boss. He has no illusions. Putin has no illusions who's who and what's what. Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Thursday that Moscow was ready for talks to end the conflict in Ukraine, but said Kiev was not prepared to sit down at the negotiating table. And I'm quoting, "It's not a question about us. We are ready for negotiations, but the leaders in Kiev decided not to continue negotiations with Russia." End quote. That could be debatable. Because, if I say, well, I'm going to talk to you if you come naked at a negotiating table, it's a non-starter. You know what I mean? Or if you tell me, well, if you bring a wife naked, we're going to start negotiating. You know what I mean? So both have their own preconditions, let's say it this way. And if I ask, my preconditions are impossible for you to accept, we'll never negotiate. And I say, well, I want to negotiate with this guy, but I'm not going to mention my preconditions are impossible for you to accept, and vice versa. So that's what he said, that the leaders in Kiev decided not to continue negotiations with Russia. Now we know what happened in Turkey when they met over there, and they agreed on certain things. The Ukrainian delegation came back to Kiev, and then the next day Boris Johnson, then the Prime Minister, showed up in Kiev unannounced and said no negotiation with Russia. So we kind of know who was in control there. But it says, Putin said this at Valdai Discussion Club in Moscow. Well, this is another one that is actually occurring in St. Petersburg. That's where I watched him many times. So I'm quoting again. "It is very easy to solve this problem if Washington gives a signal to Kiev to change its position and solve the problem peacefully, he added. So Putin pointed out exactly to whom is the boss here, who is the executor, or the person who's going to be a follower, the subordinate. So for him, there's no doubt that that's the thing. I mean, you got to be a little bit, I don't know, below 86 IQ not to see that the things are like that. And everything started, if you want to go, before 2014, when they overthrew that legitimate government with the help of the United States. So there have been no peace talks between the two since attempts at a negotiated settlement fell apart in the first weeks of the conflict, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has explicitly ruled out a negotiated deal with Putin. Well, you're not dying. Your people are not dying. The Ukrainians are dying. So why would you? And besides, you're paid and you're set. You're not going to be blown up. And in case something happens, you're always going to go to London or Tel Aviv or maybe United States somewhere. These are the three locations he's going to land safely. Okay? So of course has no reason. Why would you? Why would you want to negotiate? You like what you're doing. You're in charge, right? You're the president. Everybody loves you. You're everywhere. You're the greatest general. You write books, right? You are invited everywhere. You tell everyone what to do, because otherwise you're gonna shame them, telling them that they have blood on their hands and all that. So you're very important because they are playing the same game. They know exactly what's going on. Say, who the fuck are you? Get the fuck away. But they play the game because of the big boss. So that's what it is. And that's the game they have to play. Yes, we invite Zelensky. He's going to speak again and we're going to listen to him. He's so cute. He's so beautiful. A weasel. Anyway, so, and he has, it's a state of emergency in Ukraine from the beginning of the war. So that's a martial law. Martial law means he's kind of like in charge. Okay? He's unaccountable to anybody. He's in charge. He's like a king. So why would he want to change that? Into what? He can go like this until he dies and still appear in a, hey, but look at his shave. He wants to show that he's like, poor guy with that t-shirt, like he feels your pain. He's one of you. But look at his shave. His shave is not like growing without having time to shave it. No, it's trimmed. I looked today. I said, what the fuck is this guy? Zoomed it. I looked at another picture, zoomed it. Just look at he's trimmed. What does that mean? He pays very good attention on the PR. And I'm, as what's his name, Colonel McGregor, I think, said that he's got a very big and good PR team around him. And I think that PR team is not really from Ukrainian territory, if you know what I mean. But hey, that's a gut feeling. I can't back that up with anything. It's just what I don't know. I have a gut feeling about it. I can have a gut feeling because if you, discharge my gut feeling, then you got in trouble with a big percentage of the population. So there you have it. I don't think Putin is an idiot. I think Putin knows exactly what's going on, who's who, what's what. You don't have to be a genius to figure out. And I think 100% that if the United States wants this war to end tomorrow morning, it will end tomorrow morning. One way or another. What does that mean? It doesn't matter what the Ukrainians say. Because if the Ukrainians say we don't wanna, they will. One way or another, they will be made to do it. Even if you have a general here or there who doesn't want to do it, they will do it eventually because there will be no more. You know what I mean? And if any of these Zhmyhal, Zelensky, Reznikov or Yermak, the four, don't wanna, which I think they wanna because they are what they are. They like, Anyway, they will do it. But the thing is, why? The United States got Russia exactly where it wanted it to be for a long time. For a long time. And see who's going to win. United States is based on economies right now, not on the battlefield. That's not what it is. It's the sanctions and the economies. If the sanctions do not kneel. Russia will go like this forever. Ukraine will go, I don't know how much longer they will have Ukrainians to be killed, right? And the Western economies will have a big dip. Now we're going to go deeper and deeper, because go deeper and deeper, they're going to lose. If it goes deeper to here first, they're going to lose. Or if those guys succeed in getting these guys out of the office somehow, then yeah, okay, that's how the West could win. If those guys are no more the leaders tomorrow. Otherwise, there's not going to be anything. It'll be like this. I shoot, you shoot, I shoot, you shoot, and see who's going to be starving first. We, or us, or you. I think that's what it is right now. They're waiting. And the winter, if they pass this winter, the West has a chance to recover during the year, make the connections for the next winter. Russia doesn't have that problem. Doesn't have a problem with the food, doesn't have a problem with the energy. It has problems with telephones, with TV, with massage machines, with Mercedes, Audi, things like this. But it starts from a different, and not all Russians have that problem. Russians have the problem with eating still, being able to provide for their family. Here, that problem is not there. The problem is what kind of beer I buy, what kind of game, what kind of pay-per-view, what kind of whatever. So anyway, it's going to be economically, see who's going to collapse first. And if it's only economically, I think the West will collapse first. If Putin will be gone somehow and his guys, then that would be that's the only way these guys will win. Not on the battlefield. Nah, that's not going to win in the battlefield. It's going to be like this. Pop, 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 and they're waiting. Putin has to die. Economy has to die. One of the two. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.